Hey everyone, this is Loki with Loki's Music Blog and Podcast here with Kyle Mayer from 10 Years and September Morning.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How you doing, man?
Dude, been good, staying busy, and happy to talk to you, man. It's been a strange new world lately, but we're just trying to push ahead as best we can.
Oh, definitely. Especially with all going on. I'm not going to mention anything out in the outside world because, demonetization with YouTube. I don't know if you know about that. So, we'll talk about the infestation of ducks, okay?
Word.
It's random, but hey, we'll cover our toes. Being with all the infestation of ducks, how have you been keeping busy?
Oh, man. I feel like there's not enough hours in the day. Obviously, I've been off tour since late February, but there's always work to do in the music realm. I'm working on my solo project, keeping in touch with the September Morning crew, talking about album release stuff, and we're just keeping in touch on when we're going to be able to get out there again. And I do a jewelry business on the side, and my wife and I are even trying to take it one step further to where we're doing like Joshua Tree themed and desert themed stuff, just totally outside of music. Really just trying to do as much as possible from home.
That's awesome.
I feel super busy, dude.
That's great. I'll definitely be sharing the link to your Etsy for that as well. Anything to get that merch selling, because I eventually want to get a necklace myself.
Oh, right on.
So, you've been keeping busy with jewelry making. I saw that you were doing drum covers and everything like that as well. How'd you get started with that?
I've been wanting to get into that for a long time. I really got into it like full steam after I had departed from 10 Years. And I really, for the first time, had all the equipment to do it. 10 Years had a really busy year. I mean, we had one stretch where we did an 11-week tour, which nearly killed me, and I think all of us in some way. It was really long and intense, but I made pretty good money on that tour, so I finally had some money to buy some mics and some camera gear and stuff to finally get that going. So I just kind of never stopped since then.
That's awesome. How old were you when you realized you wanted to become a drummer?
So, 12 going into 13, I had heard Metallica's Black Album, and at first I wanted to be Jason Newsted. I was obsessed with the album, and I was just, Jason's the coolest. And by the time my birthday came around that year, I was fanboying on Lars. I wanted to be Lars, and so my birthday came that year, and my parents just got me a little secondhand drum set, and it was just game on from there. Never slowed up any since.
That's awesome. I love that album. I actually own it myself.
And it's still good, and it still sonically sounds incredible.
Oh yeah, a lot of their music definitely resonates with this time frame that we're dealing with. Yeah, who exactly inspired you more so on drumming? Was it Newsted entirely, or was it a multiple amount of people?
Of course, I was a big fan of Lars on drums. Then I got into Nick Menza from Megadeth, stuff like Slayer, and then Raymond Herrera from Fear Factory just like changed the playing field with like double bass and just drum tone. So I still love Fear Factory, but I was absolutely just obsessed with that album, Demanufacture, and I wanted to be able to play like that. And I continue to follow guys too. Like I ended up getting into Abe from Deftones, this great groove and pocket. Huge Morgan Rose fan, Seven Dust. Been following those guys since they started, and just try to keep my eyes open for stuff that keeps me inspired. I'm a big Meshuggah fan too.
Nice. Out of all those artists that you mentioned, is there anyone that in particular that you would want to collaborate with specifically?
Oh boy, I don't have any wish list stuff like that right now. I've kind of learned being out on the road and touring and things. You know, you can't cherry pick who you're going to be friends with or who you're going to hit it off with. So, you know, you just got to kind of see what happens naturally and go from there. You know, for my solo release, I'm actually collaborating with a longtime collaborator, Kalen Chase, that used to, he was a background touring singer with Korn, ended up doing Vimic with Joey Jordison, and we're literally related at this point. My wife and his wife are sisters.
That's
So,
awesome.
I'm keeping it in the family, and you know, we've continued to collaborate for years on different levels, and you know, we had our band The Changing. So he's lending me his voice on some stuff, and then I have another dear friend, Paul Bellantoni, who's I know from the Hollywood Crew, amazing singer, piano player, and we just did a session a couple weeks ago for one of the new tunes. So that's who I'm collaborating with currently, and then of course September Morning
Right.
is an ongoing thing. But yeah, I'm not trying to pull any you know, major moves like that. Like I want to do a project with Corey Taylor, or
Right.
not even on my radar right now.
Yeah. Makes sense. Why shoot for something so high that it's very difficult to reach?
I'm all about working with you know, the opportunities that you get.
Exactly. What is the hardest drum track that you've played live?
Oh boy. The one that comes to mind that was always tricky is there was a track off 10 Years from Birth to Burial, a song called Luna,
Okay.
that had on the album the drums were very they were programmed in electronic, and then there was a version with real drums, and then when the band came together, we kind of combined those, and then I put my own spin on it, and of course I wanted it to be a little crazy and push the limits, so that one was always challenging. There was another 10 Years track that was always challenging off Minus the Machine, the song Colors.
Okay.
And there's a pretty big, intense, not drum soloist, but a very dramatic drum build-up. And we'd always play that towards the end of the set, so I was kind of huffing and puffing by that point. And then, you know, we have this 8-minute song with this gnarly, you know, drum outro.
Right.
And then September Morning has a song called Glass Animals that has some odd meter stuff, and it has some pretty quick double bass stuff. And, that one's always physically demanding.
It definitely sounds like it would be. I mean, anytime you're physically exerting yourself for a song, but then you hear the crowd, you know, cheering afterwards, it's like, we're done for today. We're done. We got this.
It's relieving sometimes.
It's very therapeutic. How have your fans impacted the choices you make as a musician today?
Oh boy, that's something I've definitely wrapped my entire life as a musician and career around. And I'm kind of at a point now to where I'm not afraid to put stuff out there, and I've learned to work around the whole psych out of, you know, is what I'm doing cool enough or good enough, or are enough people going to pay attention? I kind of worked past that, so I'm just at a point where I'm creating. I love creating. I got a little cred just with the experience I've had, but you know, I'm just not shooting myself in the foot anymore.
It's the best way to live. If you could guest drum for any band, who would you choose and why?
Oh boy.
Not
Blood
just
Vein
churches.
Reunion.
Living? That would be cool.
I have no idea if that's ever going to happen for them, but and obviously, like, I would, you know, could never replace Matt as a. I mean, he really pushed the limits in a lot of ways, but would it be fun for me? Of course it would. Yes.
Right. How long have you been playing before you got your first record deal in any band?
Oh boy. Believe it or not, I have never actually had my name on a record deal. The first signed pro band I ever played for would it be 10 years, and I did the Flyleaf tour with them and a handful of shows when they needed somebody to fill in, and I turned 29 on that tour, so it took me forever.
Wow. I'm not gonna ask how old you are because you still look pretty young. So.
I'm 39.
39. So. Okay. Can we discuss why you left 10 years and joined September Morning?
That's a very elegant way to put it. I got fired from 10 years, actually. A lot of that was my fault, and a lot of it was just I wasn't happy. I had put 5 years in with that band, and we've been through a lot, and I've been through a lot of lineup changes. It started to bother me immensely that after all that time that I'd never been permitted to record with them or to kind of take part of the creative process. And then with the How to Live as Ghost album, that was tough because we had started doing the writing and the pre-production as a unit. And if you know anything about the inner workings of 10 years, Brian Bodina is classically, he's recorded all the drums for everything. He's always been just a big driving force with that. And then the producer essentially said that he wanted Brian to do the drums, Nick Raskolinix. And I was just devastated. I thought after all that time that I was going to get my shot to go do that, and it just didn't work out. So I bit the bullet for as long as I could, but as the touring on that progressed, I was just really disillusioned and pretty unhappy about a lot of things, and I just felt really excluded. I was the only guy in that lineup that didn't get to go over it, and I just couldn't get over it. And I was drinking too much and acting like an asshole sometimes, and if I could go back and do it again, I would have quit before it got that bad. Now, that being said, we're all good. Time heals all wounds. I love the 10 years, guys. I like where I am today. Was that a really hard time for me? Yes, it was.
Before 10 years, what were you doing? Were you just a drum tech for various bands, or?
No, I was playing on the Hollywood scene. I had an original band called The Changing. That was with my brother-in-law, Kalen Chase. We did The Changing. And we got to do a big things. We got to do a couple of shows on the Korn Family Values Tour. That was huge for us. We did our record with Logan Mader, brilliant engineer, and just super cool dude. We love Logan. We just didn't end up taking it to the next level. We did some regional stuff, still proud of the record. And then I played a bunch of other local LA bands too. I played in a band called Divine Era. I briefly played in Before the Morning, and various other things too. So I was just playing on the Hollywood scene, trying to get noticed.
That's awesome.
Did that for years.
Everyone's got their start somehow. So tell me more about September Morning, as it's a fresh band. I noticed you have a female vocalist. What's it like? Have you all actually gone on tour with them? Or
I've done probably almost 200 shows with September already. Yeah,
Okay.
We hit it hard out of the gate. We do. The band's been busy up until. No, September is definitely a different beast. Obviously, there's women around. You can't just piss in a Gatorade bottle when you're driving down the highway because there's girls around. So,
right.
It's a little different in that respect. When it's just dudes, it gets real raunchy all the time. But,
yeah.
September Morning is one of the hardest working bands I've ever seen operate. We don't have a big team of people doing things for us. We do pretty much everything ourselves. And it's really supportive, and everybody is supportive of the things we do outside of the band as well as in the band. And the new record's going to be amazing. I got to play drums and participate in the album. So the future looks bright. I think once everything goes back to normal, we're going to hit the ground running, and the new record is really killer.
Oh yeah. What is the name of that record for everyone to know?
The new one is going to be Volume 4.
Okay. Definitely plug that in, and I'll share it with everyone that I know. So.
And I don't know when it's coming out yet. We're working on all that. But when I know, y'all will know.
Sounds good. You got any last closing statements that you want to mention?
Oh boy, no, we covered a lot. Yeah, man, just stay busy, stay healthy, listen to bands, support people, help your neighbor.
Definitely.
Try not to be too much of a tool.
Good rocking with you, man.
You too, Loki. Thanks, brother.
No problem.